Hello and welcome to the Extreme Improv Podcast. I am your host, David Pustansky, and today I am joined by an improviser from Moscow, Russia, Yury. How are you doing, Yury?
Hi, I'm fine.
Now, Yury, I said just before we started recording that I didn't want to butcher getting the pronunciation of your surname wrong. So would you just give that to us now? Your full name, it's Yury. I will try, in fact. I will try.
Yeah.
Yury Savateev.
Yeah. Savateev. Yeah.
Savateev. And the thing that was like the scary bit there is you say it's got this double E, which isn't like an extended E.
Yeah.
It's an E. It's a double E.
In Russian language, like, you pronounce each letter separately.
Ah.
Like, almost always. Like.
Really? So do you have... actually, that's just interesting. Do you have any instances... Because in English, obviously, you're speaking English to me now. We have, like, SP, SP, and ST, ST, and TH, th, and things like this. Do you have anything like that in Russian?
Like, as I said, like, not really. Like, there is... almost always a letter is... just corresponds to one sound. Don't match them together. Because why would you? Just invent some more letters if you need more sounds.
Well, I think so as well. Do you know what? We also have extra letters. I've often had the conversation with people where we have the letter C, K, and X, and they all do the exact same thing. Because a letter... Well, you could just have a letter K, you know, because it's K.
And C is just redundant.
Yeah, C is either K or S, and we already have an S and a K, and then the X is... Z, or K, you know, it's weird.
French influence.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird. Okay, so anyway, Yury, we're not here to discuss languages so much, but we are here to discuss improv. So on the Extreme Improv Podcast, if you're not initiated, to any listeners out there, we like to discuss things about improv, and we like to play some improv games and just have a fun chat. So, Yury, just to begin with, could you tell me a little bit about your background with improv? Who you do improv with now, perhaps, or who you used to do improv with? How you got into it?
It was, I think it was 2010. So I was just sitting at home, and like in Russia, we get things later.
Yeah.
So it was 2010, and I just found out about stand-up, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
There was not stand-up comedy in Russia before 2010?
There was, but like it was something like different. And I watched some stand-up, and I thought, okay, let's see who does stand-up in Russia. And in 2010, it was like 2.5 guys like doing stand-up.
2.5 guys.
Like I saw some, but.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's doing great. There are like TV shows that are like it's exploded in the last 5 years. But in 2010, there was like nothing. So I found this guy. He is right now very famous screenwriter. He writes all Russian blockbusters. Wow. You never heard of him, but like he's now like legit. He got all the like national awards for screenplays. But back then, he was just a stand-up comedian, one of the few. Wow. And I found this guy, went to his concert, befriended him on social media because this was so incredibly small. And
what's his name out of interest?
Nikolai Kulikov, his name is. Right now he's like a screenplay guy. But then he was a stand-up comedian, and he found out about improv. Basically, he watched Whose Line.
Yeah.
Said, yes, I want to do that.
You do have to say yes in improv, don't you?
Yeah. And he just started a group of people, just gathered a bunch of people, like rented the rehearsal space and trying to do that. But because I think like nobody taught him, he only did it from like looking and reading maybe. So we had to figure out everything by ourselves. And we sucked so badly. Really, like it was terrible improv. But
that sounds great. I'd like to go see a show that's advertised as terrible improv.
No, it wasn't advertised as terrible improv.
No, but I think that would be a selling point. If I saw a show that was bold enough to call itself terrible improv, I'd go.
Totally, yeah. And then like it was about like 6 months I did that. And then I had to leave the country, and I lived in Switzerland for 3 years.
In where?
In Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah.
And like it was sort of like weird timing for me, because like as I left, they actually started performing in front of people. Like back when I was there, we just rehearsed between ourselves.
Yeah.
As I lived, they started to perform. But that's fine. So in Switzerland, I didn't do much improv. I did only like PowerPoint karaoke, which is a fine thing to do.
PowerPoint karaoke, how does that work?
It just, you go on stage, they load up a presentation that you've never seen in your life, and you have to give it.
Oh, okay. That's great, yeah.
Especially fine it is in some weird language, so you don't understand the text, but you don't care.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's really fun show to do, and you just need to find this cool presentation, because a lot of people write presentations like as walls of text, and but if it has cool pictures, like the best one are medical ones, they're cool.
I bet.
Yeah. So I did that, like there was a guy just doing that like once a month. I did that, and then I came back from Switzerland in like 2014 now, and I was just sitting at home. Like literally, like for the first month I came back, I was just doing nothing, like just
chilling out. Yeah.
And Facebook, through its magic of algorithm, found this guy called Dmitry Vyushkin, who by that time went to like I.O. and stuff, and so he brought back and started to teach long form.
Right.
One of the first guys who did in Russia, in Moscow. He started teaching long form, and I said, "Oh, okay." That's and I went there and like never stopped since. Then in 2015, I went to I.O. myself, and started teaching, and it just basically right now there are like several improv schools in Moscow, and I taught in several improv schools in Moscow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just all, it gets bigger and bigger.
So do you teach more now, or do you perform still?
I do teach and I do perform. Like, weirdly, lately I started to teach less because we, like, formed our new group and wanted to do some things separately, so we haven't yet launched our courses.
Cool. What's your new group?
It's called the Improv Generator.
Yes.
I believe a couple of days ago you had Josh Wilson.
I did have Josh Wilson. Great fun to speak to.
Yeah, he is a friend of mine. We're doing, like, he's part of the group. We're in the same team, in the same group. Also, we have now a team called Yauza.
Yowzers.
Just Yauza. Because, funnily enough, you know this word Yauza, but there is a river in Moscow that's called Yauza.
Okay. See, I know the word Yowza, but I don't know if like we know the same thing. The only thing I know of the word Yowza, I think it might be there was a cartoon perhaps called Inspector Gadget or something like this, and the character would go Yowzers.
Yeah, it is like
an
accent from the 50s or something.
Oh, there you go.
It just...
Or maybe Scooby-Doo, one of these things.
Yeah, something like this. It was like an exclamation.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, so if people haven't listened to the episode I did with Josh Wilson previously, do make sure you check that out. But just to say a little bit about the Improv Generator, tell the listeners who perhaps haven't heard that episode yet.
Yeah.
So a little bit about it.
Generator. It started as an event. So we made up this event called Improv Generator. And it is basically how it works is you gather people who want to do improv, and you find coaches, and you form teams on the spot. And then the coaches coach for like 2 days, and then in the evening of the second day there is a performance with like newly made teams with like their coaches, and there is a performance. And we found some coaches, we found some people, and we made this thing. And it was fun. People enjoyed that. And we decided, yeah, let's do more things. And now we try to do more of things in Moscow, improv related. The problem is in Moscow that there are like a lot of people who teach courses, and we wanted to get people more opportunities to perform, which is different. So we always try to. We have this event we're doing it. We did it twice now. It's called Improv Family Dinner, which is basically open mic for improv.
Sounds great.
So just bring your.
Do you have improv jams out there?
We have, but usually it's organized by people who teach short form, so there are mostly short form.
Okay, yeah, certainly.
And we want long form, so it is like open mic for long form improv. So that's what we are doing now.
Okay, well, if we can, Yury, let's come a little bit onto some short form. Love some long form as well. Yeah. But let's play an improv game, just because they work well. Just to dive into on the podcast. So I'll explain any rules for you, in case, because I know every improv game has a different name wherever you come across it. Yeah. And also for any listeners out there. But I think we should start with a simple one word at a time story where I say a word, you say a word, and we build up a story. Nice, easy one to begin with. So, Yury, you can choose the theme of the story. So, what would you like us to tell a story about?
I would like to tell a story about... Let's say, like, generally about discovery.
Ooh, discovery. There's a lot of scope we can take with that. Yeah. So, one word at a time, a story about discovery. Yury, you can start the first word.
Okay. One
day,
Peter
sat
on
his
couch,
looking
at
the
wall.
Suddenly,
a
portal
opened
in
the
wall,
and
a
purple
man
came
through
the
portal.
Peter
jumped
up
onto
the
couch
and
screamed,
"Who
are
you?"
Peter
yelled.
The
man
stood
there,
looking
very
sternly.
Finally,
the
man
spoke
slowly.
Hello,
Peter.
My
name
is... Do
you
know
where
I
can
get
some
Pepsi?
Peter
scratched
his
head
and
replied,
I
do
have
some
Pepsi
that
you
can
use. Said
the
Pepsi.
Owning.
Man.
There. Good.
It
tastes
like
nectar.
And
then
we
can
go
through
the
portal
to
my
universe
where
there
is
no
Pepsi.
Peter
Agreed.
and
Went
with
blah, 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 blah,
to through
the
portal.
look
It
is
my
purple
house.
inside
The
purple
portal
there
was
a
purple
child
in
the
house.
Peter
Asked
the
purple,
child,
are
you
the
child
of
my
friend?
blah, 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 blah.
The
Child
said
no
he
is
my
son.
oh
Right,
said
Peter.
what
Should
we
do
now?
we
Should
drink
the
Pepsi
we
stole?
said
The
purple.
child
It
was
my
favorite.
drink.
The end. I'm gonna wrap us
that's
there.
it.
Whoa! Oh, amazing, excellent. Okay, so yeah, we got a purple man and a purple child and lots of Pepsi, and Peter discovered a purple world. You know,
Yeah.
What else can you hope? That's what I'm aiming for in life, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, with every game we play, I like to say, what are your thoughts on any tips for players out there on such a game?
Basically, I don't know about tips, but I know what mistakes I make sometimes when I play this game.
Yeah, certainly.
My main thing is I am so eager to explain, like, basically I want to start almost any sentence with "well, actually," and I find it so hard not to do that. Basically, like half of my efforts at any given time at the improv stage is me doing that.
Just to explain it all.
Which hinders my performance usually.
Yeah. One I come across with that game when playing it, teaching it, directing it, is just getting, like, we didn't do it, so this was a good thing, but the amount of times, like, the sentences will go on forever. So suddenly you feel like it's the end of the sentence and you'll get and then you'll go on, but, with, that is like, I've lost track completely now. Okay, so, just coming back to a little bit more of an interview thing, and then we'll play another improv game shortly. So, you say you do long form now. What kind of formats do you do long form, and what are the challenges with long form?
basically it was my dream ever since I came back from Chicago. Just please let there be in Moscow like one regular long form show. There was none. There were people doing short form. There are people doing like theater sports. Like, there is a TV show with short form, but there was like no regular long form at all. Like where you can just know where like once a week I can go to this place and there will be long form. But it's not the case.
Yeah.
So all basically I did was to that goal. We tried. We had like with my previous team in Moscow Improv Club. We had a weekly short form show, and at some point we started to inject like we did like half an hour short form, then a half an hour of long form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we started like slowly incorporated it, but then that group disbanded, and we started to do our thing. Yeah, and right now we are developing this show. I think there will be like a long form festival, a small one, but in Moscow, like in the end of February, and we will perform it there. It's called The Shuffle, and it's basically we start like it's a long form piece where the suggestion is the song. So we ask like a song, like take someone's phone, plug it in, play a random song, and as it's played, we start to like do something that will inspire the long form that is gonna happen afterwards.
Sounds great. It all begins with a song.
Yeah, because like it always like when there is music, it just adds so much.
Absolutely. It sets a tone, a mood. Okay. So, what are some challenges that you think that there are with long form? Long form, because like so many people do short form, and like with Extreme Improv, when we do our live shows, we've done long form in the past, but at the moment we mostly do short form stuff. Yeah. But there are different challenges with long form and short form. What are some of the challenges that you find with your players for long form?
I think for me the difference between like short form and long form, the short form is always kind of closer to circus. Like, look, we can do this thing. Like it's a show of skill. Mm-hmm. Like we can like sing and say things at the same time. Like basically, it's and it's fun and like interesting and exciting. And long form is closer to theater. So when it's not necessarily, there is still a ton of skill involved.
Yes.
The idea, the promise is that people won't notice the amount of skill it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. With short form, as like some of the games we'll play in this podcast, they're about like word restrictions and just learning like the format, whereas like long form, it's perhaps just telling the longer story and exploring the characters and relationships.
Yeah. And like the idea, like when watching a short form game, people are really watching like, do they follow the rules?
Yeah.
And in long form, you don't have this. Like,
yes,
even
absolutely.
if you do like a week scene in short form, people still can laugh about how you follow or don't follow the rules. Like this part of it. Where in long form, if you're doing a bad show, it's just a bad show.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that is like what I find one of the big challenges with long form is that like if you do short form, after 2 minutes, 3 minutes, if it's not going anywhere, you can start a new scene.
Exactly.
If I once went to a long form show, and I won't name any names because it's sharing something but I think people can learn from it. And they did an initial get from the audience. They asked for a suggestion of something, and after about 25 seconds, they'd segued off of it, and it was gone for the rest of the show. So, and it wasn't that the rest of it wasn't, entertaining and stuff, but it was just something completely that the audience hadn't asked for.
Yeah, but I think that's a part of it. Like, I think in Chicago, they even tell you, like, don't worry about the suggestion. Like,
yeah.
If it is there, it's okay. If it's not, it's not. That doesn't matter. The show is good. But yeah, weirdly enough, about long form, I went to Fringe at 2017, just like at work, and I saw one of the it's weird. Like sometimes you see an improv show that is bad and you don't know why.
Yeah.
There, I saw an improv show where I knew exactly why it was bad. And it wasn't just because, like, the people were bad or something. Like, what it was, I totally forgot the name, but the idea was they were actually a theater troupe. They brought, like, a play that they performed. But then one day, it was announced that they're doing an improv show.
Yeah.
So basically, how it worked, they had, like, their team, like, young actors, very well trained, like, proper people with actors training. And they had their like director, and you would know how he looks and how he speaks, as I described to you, because it's such a for me, like such a character, like old, like in his 60s, British theater professor.
Right, certainly.
You hear him talk, and he talks exactly like you think he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know the guy, and basically how it works, he probably learned about improv and became fascinated with it, but because he's an old fart, he didn't bother to read anything about it, so he decided to reinvent it by himself because he's such an esteemed
scholar. Yeah,
yeah, he can do it by himself, and you can see that all the people are terrified of him.
Yeah.
So basically, how it works, how their show worked. So he comes on stage, says, "Oh, improv is such a wonderful thing. Improv is, and to illustrate this, here is an exercise we're gonna do." Points to one of them. You come on stage. You come on stage. So we're doing this thing. It works like this. Then he walks back to his space, and it takes him 30 seconds to get back there. And then he walks back to his place, sits, and then say, "Go." And before he says go, no one does anything. They don't even start.
Yeah.
And you can just see the sheer terror. I don't know what he does to them in rehearsals. You can just see that they're just terrified of this guy.
Yeah.
They're so afraid. And they're good guys, good people. You can see that
yeah.
Just if someone just say guys, it's okay, no one will hit you, they would be so much better.
Yeah. Very regimented approach.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's use that as inspiration, in fact, for doing another improv game. So we can use it as a starting point. Either a character like that, or something will happen. But let's say we're going to do an alphabet scene. So following the letters of the alphabet for anyone not initiated who's listening. So every time the next character speaks, it will begin with the next letter of the alphabet. So we're going to say that it's sit around one or more older college professors, teachers, what have you. Yury, can you suggest a letter of the alphabet for us to begin at?
Let's go with F.
So we will start at the letter F, and then we will continue the scene until we go all the way through the alphabet, get back to the beginning, and end again on the letter F. And here we go. Frederick, I would like to have a word with you if you don't mind.
Gee, Mr. Wilson, of course, you can talk to me anytime.
Hell, boy, you don't do the things the way I teach them. I am not pleased.
I try, Mr. Wilson, but I think your ways are old and I want something new.
Just a moment. Are you questioning me?
Knowledge isn't set in stone. It should be changed all the time.
Livid. I am livid to hear you question my methods.
My methods work as well.
Now then, we're going to do an exercise right here, right now.
Okay.
Please take off your shoes.
Question. Is it okay that my socks have holes in them?
Right. So be it. If there are to be holes, then you must wear my socks.
Socks. Often. That is the nicest thing you ever
Take
did
off
me.
your socks, boy.
Usually it is, yeah, okay, I'll take my socks here.
Very good. Now hold my hand.
Wow, Professor Wilson, what's going on? It feels so warm.
Xander, your roommate, told me that you're having difficulties at home.
Yes, Professor, I do. My father is in debt.
Zara, your mother, said that I need to teach you the modern ways.
Absolutely, I'm so lost.
Bring yourself closer to me and I will tell you the secret to performing well.
Close enough?
Don't step on my toes, boy, not with those holes in your socks.
Educate me, Professor.
Frederick, the secret is try harder. And scene. There we go. We made it. So, cool. Okay, so once again, what's your thoughts on that game? Any thoughts on it? Any variants on it that you've ever come across?
Again, like I had to type the alphabet in a separate window so I can follow it. But yeah, it is like with any scene probably you have this idea. I think that's a very good game in a sense that it forces you to listen till the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes after like first half a second, you already know what you want to answer, and normally it's okay. But here you have this restriction that you have to start with a letter, and like you have to listen till the end and you don't have much time to because sometimes the letter just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Yury, let me just ask you. So obviously, as I mentioned earlier, this is not about languages, but you're speaking to me in perfect English. Well, yeah, no, it's great. I couldn't say a few more than 2 or 3 words in Russian. So I know that yes is da. Is that correct? Yeah. Da. There you go. Okay, so, do you have an equivalent for yes and in Russia?
Da i.
Da e. Yeah, I might have even asked Josh that previously. Okay, so when you come up, do you perform in English, in Russian? What and how does even something like an alphabet game? Because obviously there is the Russian alphabet.
There is. The idea is because we have Josh in our team. He doesn't speak Russian, so we perform in English. And I did again with my previous group, Moscow Improv Club. It was growing out of an English school, so it was also in English, and we were the only people who did improv in English in Moscow.
Yeah.
And since I noticed several things, I also tried doing it in Russian and did some things. I noticed I'm different improviser in Russian and in English.
Oh, really?
I'm better as an improviser when I'm doing it in English.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting. Okay, out of interest though, is there an equivalent to the alphabet game with the Russian alphabet?
Yes. Like you can do it. The problem is there are several letters in the Russian alphabet that, like by rules of the language, cannot start a word.
Oh, wow, I have no idea on this.
Letters that cannot be the first letter of the word. It just doesn't work.
So are you saying it's impossible to do a Russian alphabet game?
A proper one, yes. Like you can skip all these letters.
Okay, so can you give me an example? Like we say A, B, C, D. How does the Russian alphabet start, and what is a letter that you can't start a?
No, like all the weird letters are near the end.
Okay.
But basically, there is a letter that doesn't have a sound, but it changes the sound of the previous letter.
Yeah, I get you.
So you cannot start with it.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. And also there is everyone's favorite letter, everyone who learns Russian.
Is it the backwards R?
No. That's simple.
Stab in the dark.
Sound. We have a vowel that doesn't exist in English.
Oh, and what's that? Wow, okay.
And it's like everyone, like, I saw like several textbooks like for learning Russian, but written for English people. Yeah. Like, so everything is explained in English. And they always, like, in the beginning, they, like, write the alphabet and write in brackets, like, what sound it corresponds.
Okay,
like,
so can you make it in a word?
Like, cheese in Russian is syr.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, they have, like, like, the sound in, like, ba. Like,
ba, yeah.
Like, just when they learn you the first, like, sounds.
Yeah.
And when they get that letter, it just says, like, the sound when you make when you're hit in the stomach or something, because do not exist in English that they can't even find a word where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that is Wow, I don't know how we'd write that.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't really write that. Yeah.
Like that, and it's and it is just. Yeah,
it's an interesting thing because I think on like words like put, like even something like put, P-U-T, like we could spell it put, but we say put, and it is a bit of a
Yeah, and you can like put, but like the letter you're tending to is oo. The sound.
Ooh.
So, like oo. But if you do the same thing but with tending to e, you get like
oo. Oh, okay. Yeah, people listening to this now can just hear us, and they think that the podcast has been taken over by dogs
so
or
fast, like it's just a thing I can talk about it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I remember back when I was like very little, started to learn English. I was like 10, first year of English. I couldn't hear the difference between 13 and 14 because the sound doesn't exist in Russian.
Oh,
so you don't have a reference to it. So you just one sound.
Yeah, but yeah.
It just the same with like there are two very similar letters in Russian which all like people who learn Russian cannot distinguish. It's
please
sh.
Say it again.
There is sh.
Yeah, no.
And
wow, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, because there is a in English equivalent, this sh sound.
Yeah.
But it's in the middle of them. So it's on the scale from like your sound is in the middle. So the difference between our two sounds is too small to hear. But for us, it's a big difference, so we can't hear it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's I can talk about Russian language.
Yeah, absolutely. So but once again, you know what, it is fascinating. Maybe this should be a language podcast, but okay, we will move on. So, Yury, one thing I ask everyone is, do you have a favorite short form game that perhaps we can try playing? So you get to introduce something to throw me the curveball.
Game. I always enjoyed probably my favorite game to play when I did short form shows was Emotions.
Yeah.
When there is like a bunch of emotions and genres and you do a scene and people throw
And you continue it in that emotion.
Continue in that.
Okay. Okay, so
let's without like a mediator.
Yeah, a mediator. Okay. Let's find a way to do it. So what I'll say is we can do a scene. I will put a timer on my phone just to keep an eye on things. And let's say every 20 seconds, we throw up a different emotion. So I can just freeze us at 20 seconds, and we can rapidly say whichever emotion and continue. Okay, so let's say our scenario is that we are going skiing.
Okay.
So we're going skiing, and Yury, let's ask you, what is something unusual about when we're going skiing this time? Just to throw something to work with.
Something unusual. Something unusual. I don't want to say it's summer, but yeah.
No, that's it. I love it. Let's go for it. We're going skiing in the summer. That's brilliant. Okay, so we're going skiing in the summer, and we'll start it off just for those listening as if it's a normal scene, and then every 20 seconds we'll just bark out a different emotion to continue. I say every 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Whenever you feel like one, just call an emotion. I'll do the same.
Yeah.
So here we go. We're skiing, and it is the summer. Take it away. Well, there's not much snow about now, is there?
Well, but I honestly am surprised that there is some. It's so good. We can still ski.
Well, I think it's a bit muddy on the hills. I don't really want to get.
Come on, like.
Am I being negative again?
Can we just go for it?
Okay, so we'll strap on our skis and then we'll get to it. And I think now we're really happy. So, are you ready to do this?
Yes!
I want to get so muddy.
So muddy, and it's gonna be great.
It's going to be so good. And if it's not slippy enough and we trip and break our arms, then it'll be a cool story.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at that. Whoa.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
I think I lost one of my poles. Okay, I think we should now go on to despair. I lost my pole. I've had that pole since I was a child.
It's a bad idea. Like,
no.
How can I be so blinded by my love of skiing to go in the one season that doesn't support it?
There's no hope for us now, Yury.
No hope. No hope. Only.
We can't even get to the bottom. We're going to remain on this hill for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. We can roll down, but it's not the same.
Yeah, we could walk, but why even bother?
Yeah, exactly. Without poles.
Without ice. What were we thinking? Okay, freeze. Give us a new emotion, Yury.
Jealousy.
You have 2 poles, whereas I've now only got 1.
What are you implying? That, like, you were always the privileged boy. You had everything given to you all your life.
Oh, you think you're so much better at being jealous than I am.
I had a long time to practice just looking at you living your rich life with your rich parents that gave you everything you ever asked them to.
Oh, look at the expectation I always had. I'd do anything to be like a lowly scumbag like you. Look at you, just in your poor clothes with your poor skis. They're not even skis. I wish I had skis like that. They're made out of cardboard.
You know what? We can switch. I'd totally take your fancy skis.
Oh, you think you're so good coming up with that idea? I could have come up with that idea. I should have come up with that idea. You're always stealing my thoughts. Freeze, another emotion, Yury.
Um, I need a positive one. So hopeful.
But you know what? If we work together, put aside any jealousy, it doesn't matter. You can have some money once we get to the bottom.
Yeah. And I think we have 2 good skis and 3 good sticks. You know what we can make?
Tell me.
A sledge.
Yes. Now, if we could only find something to bind them together, then I know we can do this.
We can use your scarf.
Yes. I mean, I don't even know why I'm wearing it. It's the middle of summer.
It's a customary wear for skiing.
Absolutely. And your goggles, they've got some elastic on it. We could probably use that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're going to make it, Yury.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's have one more emotion to end on.
It needs to be, I don't know, just calm.
Calm. Hey, look, Yury.
Yeah.
The sled worked. How about that? Yeah.
Of course.
Wow. Oh, look, there are bumblebees. It's the summer.
Bumblebees. And the mountains are so beautiful when they're not covered in snow. I never realized that it can be beautiful all year round.
I feel quite tranquil. And, oh, look, we reached the bottom. I was thinking of something else I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Oh, what do we do? What do we do now, Yury?
I guess we can just walk in this beautiful nature.
Yeah, and perhaps we could sit down for a while and drink water.
Yeah.
And scene. There we go. Nice. Excellent. Okay, so Yury, we'll just do a little bit more. I want to ask you just a little. Okay, so do you have any improv role models?
Role models. It's a weird distinction for me. There are people
or inspirations,
inspiration. Yeah. Then for me, number one is probably Susan Messing.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just I saw her in Chicago, and it's just I don't even understand.
Okay, so in what context? Did you see a show? Was it a workshop?
I had a workshop with her. I saw several shows with different people. She does this show, and each week she invites another good improviser, and they just do a set. So I saw her with a bunch of different people.
Fantastic, yeah.
It's just.
And what did you? What inspired you?
What?
What inspired you? What did you learn from her?
Just for me, she is the best improviser per se, because when you see a good team, you know that they just rehearse together and they but she can play with anyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for me what a good improviser is versus a good team. She doesn't care.
No. It's a really good point. I mean, as a team, you get to know each other, you build up chemistry. But taking it beyond the level is being able to dive in there with anyone.
Yeah, exactly. I saw very good team performances there in Chicago as well, and there is this very cool show called The Scene, and I saw it several times. And after, at some point, I realized, they all have different roles. It's all improvised, but you can see this guy always grounds the scene. This guy always provides the additional level of crazy. They all have roles.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you start to notice this thing, and it sort of loses a little bit, but it's still cool. It's really still a very good show. But
they have their character types, all their strengths there.
Not even they are all very skillful improvisers. They don't have 2 characters each. No, they all provide different characters, but just the role within the show.
Absolutely.
Always comes in then and explains everything that it makes sense, basically. because he's good at that particular.
Yeah. Okay, Yury, just before we wrap things up, it's been fantastic having you on the show today. We'll play one more game that we play on every show, and it's an extreme monologue. Okay. Now, in the United Kingdom here, we have a long-running radio show called Just a Minute, and this is inspired by this.
Okay.
In that show, they will have to speak without repeating most words, but on our version, we'll have it so you're not allowed to repeat any words within this monologue. And you're also not allowed to hesitate, which means extended pauses or saying or And the way we'll play it is we'll have a timer on. And as you're the guest, you can begin. We'll work out what character you are and what the situation is. And you just have to do this monologue, attempting to speak without repeating any words whatsoever or without having extended hesitations. If I feel like you've broken over,
I can do either of those.
Don't worry. It's very rare for anyone to do this. If you break either of these rules, I'll call freeze, and then I will take over the monologue.
Okay.
If I then break the rules, you call freeze, and then you take it over. Whoever is speaking at the end of 1 minute wins this game. Okay, so
one question about do words like the count?
Yeah, that you can. If you repeat the word the or I or a, then that's a repetition. So, okay, so this is an extreme monologue. Yury, I will ask you. Can I have a suggestion of a well-known character from fiction?
A well-known character from fiction. Hannibal Lecter.
I love it. I genuinely think that's my favorite suggestion we've had on this show yet. Hannibal Lecter. So, okay, let's say, just to throw something with you to work with, you are Hannibal Lecter and you have some food stuck in your teeth. Okay? Great. So you are Hannibal Lecter, you have food stuck in your teeth. This is an extreme monologue. In your own time, Yury, take it away.
So, Clarice, can you pass me a toothpick, please? Oh, you don't want?
Oh, repetition of the word you. Can you pass me the toothpick? You don't want. Yeah. So it's a very tricky one. So get ready, because I'm definitely going to go wrong as well. And here I go. What you don't understand, Clarice, is that when I was stood with Buffalo Bill looking into his cellar, there was a piece of human being right between my molars. My tongue couldn't... yes. Very good. Okay. So there are 19 seconds left. Yury, it's back over to you. Take it away.
In my molars. And I cannot have this without fixing it. You must help.
Oh, and that is 1 minute. There you go. You just made it. I was so close to calling the hesitation. I looked at the clock and it was 59 seconds, and I felt too cruel to take it with 1 second left. Okay. Oh, well done. So you won that round. Do you like that game? Have you ever come across that before?
No. We had a version that's called debates.
Yeah.
When there is a topic and one person starts debating and anyone can yell objection, and there is a moderator that either says...
Yeah, I think I've come across
it. And you take... But that is the same. You take places and whoever stands wins.
Yeah. Okay, so, Yury, one thing we do ask is, could you suggest a character from fiction for a player for a future episode?
For a future episode? Good characters from fiction. I don't know, like Wolverine?
Wolverine, that's perfect. We will definitely have that coming up on a future episode of the show. Okay, so Yury, just before we end, first of all, is there someone you would like to give a shout out to. Now, this can be someone you know. It can be your improv team. We'll do all the plugs and stuff anyway. But a new idea for the show is that we give you the chance to give a shout out, and it can be literally to anyone in the world. If they know you, don't know you, this may be a way that eventually it gets back to them and they discover you. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Shout out. I want to give a shout out to Will Name.
Who's that?
He is a guy who lives in Edinburgh. He runs Spontaneous Players, and they do improvise Sherlock and improvise Harry Potter. Like, he is really like the main improv guy in Edinburgh, probably.
Okay, cool. So do you know what? Like, what's his name again?
Will Name.
Okay, I'm sorry, Will. I do not know you off the top of my head, but hopefully we will get to meet each other. We're planning to do the Edinburgh Fringe this year, so hopefully at some point.
His team won, like, for the last 3 years, the best free show on Fringe.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, and do you want to say anything to him? Any message?
I wish I was as good as you.
There you go. So that's nice, isn't it, Will? You didn't think you'd get probably mentioned on this show, and somewhere probably in 2 years' time, it'll get back to you that you were mentioned on the show, and then you'll hear it, and you can say hello to Yury. Excellent. So Yury, tell us very quickly, where can people find you? Where can people find your improv team, social media, all that malarkey?
So on Facebook, we are the Improv Generator, and it is we have also Instagram, also the Improv Generator. Just these two are main ones. Just find us. We are active. We respond to everyone. And come see our things.
And where can people find? Where do you do your things? Just so we know.
We don't have like a permanent place yet.
Yeah.
So like with every event, it's like a new place sometimes.
Yeah, cool.
But our family dinners for now are at BB King in Moscow. It's actually a pretty cool place.
I'll tell you what, Yury, there may be a time when Extreme Improv is coming to Moscow, so we will check that out, and we can...
Yeah, definitely, just come.
Yeah. Okay, that's brilliant. So I'll just do my little bit to wrap it up at the end here. So for everyone listening, this has been the Extreme Improv Podcast. My name is David Pustansky. You can find me on Twitter and social media, Facebook, etc., at David Pustansky, and the Pustansky, for those who cannot spell it, is Pustansky. And Yury, do you know what? Like, somewhere in my distant past, there are like Russian members of my family, but like Russia's an interesting place where borders changed and stuff like this. So it's a bit Russian, it's a bit Polish. We're not quite sure anymore.
Yeah.
But we're also very aware that the way I spell Pustansky is simplified.
Yeah.
But okay, so for Extreme Improv, you can find us on Facebook by searching Extreme Improv. You can find us on Twitter by searching Extreme Impro without the V on the end. And also then with the V reinstated back on the end on Instagram, Extreme Improv. You can find all of our social media links at www.extremeimprov.co.uk. And of course, the Extreme Improv podcast is available on iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, Podbean, and any good place where you can listen to your podcasts. So from me, David Pustansky, and from Yury, this is the end of the show. Any final thought on anything you want to say to anyone, Yury?
Just be yourself.
Be yourself. That's an excellent thought. Okay, until next time, thank you very much.